boy. Someone's going to need some lotion afterwards.
Get the man some lotion.
Yeah.
What's up, FPF?
So that's not the worst intro we've ever had.
Oh, yeah. I know we've had worse than this. Anyway, welcome to another edition of Calling the Audible. It is the Div D-1, Div D-2. I'm your host, Moe Khan. Alongside with me, as always, is the...
Dashing, charming.
He's on the payroll for TOPSZN. It's Alex Hollowak.
I was on the payroll this week for TOPSZN.
You're still on the payroll.
I set it up big time.
You know, Shane Blackwood, ex-teammate, Andal Gordon-Thomas, ex-teammate. Or was it Thomas Gordon or Andal Gordon-Thomas?
He likes to go by Thomas Gordon.
Whatever. Ex-teammate of yours?
Yes.
That's a slew of guys, so you're on the payroll.
Slew of guys. Good guys, too. Some of my favorite ex-teammates that I've played with.
You know what Andal looks like? Brandon Ingram, physically speaking?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
Shape, yeah.
He doesn't play anywhere near as good
No.
basketball as he does.
He's more like I'm trying to think of a good comparison here. He's like a lesser skilled Tyler Hansbrough.
He's like a ninth man.
He's
like one of those undersized tweeners who tries to play power forward and gets bodied and then not really good enough shooter to be on the outside.
His get-up, he wears the headband, right? If remember back in the 2000s, it was baggy, oversized, baggy clothes, right?
Yeah.
He would be the perfect bench warmer wearing the oversized shooting shirt, the oversized warm-up pants, right? And then they go timeout, and he's like, all right, guys, let's go. Let's do it, guys. Let's go TOPSZNs.
Well, he wasn't a bench warmer in this week's game. That's for sure. He made a big impact.
We'll definitely recap the week that was in Division D1, D2. We'll talk about playoff races, the contenders of Division D1, and we'll talk about the top three per conference in Division D2. Which three would you take? And we'll get to a slew of other news and notes in and around the world. But for now, let's recap the week that was, and we will recap the game that I saw. And as I boldly predicted they would win and cover, KHB Raw winning 30-12 over Straight Out of Breath, who've now lost 3 in a row and are now spiraling and on the cusp of maybe falling back into the pack of teams fighting for spots 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Our boy, Dylan Garber, the 10, or DG10, as I like to call him normally, had a great game. 4 TDs, 148 yards passing. I know you're coughing there. Ryan Garber had 2 touchdowns.
Great game.
Your boy Max Marini, 5 INTs. That was almost half of his completions that he had in the game. Not the best game. A defensive fest. It was an ugly game in terms of the offensive output for SOB. And now, Alex Hallock, I asked you this question. Do we press the panic button on a team that a month ago we thought maybe could be a contender, but now looks like it is a directionless ship going nowhere right now? Oh,
for sure. 3 straight losses in the midst of the summer season is definitely concerning. You're looking at losses in the past 3 weeks against Backyard Bruisers, Badgers, and now just a miserable loss against KGP Raw. They got shut out in the second half of this game. There's definitely something to be concerned about if you're straight out of breath right now. You've tailspinned. You no longer have that initial momentum that you brought into the beginning of the season. Max Marini has it's almost like he's been solved by defenses the last couple of weeks.
He has been solved. It was known since week 1, Alex, that he's a deep ball player. He doesn't have a short game, and it's cost him. He had more completions to Jonathan Garfinkel for 3 INTs than he did for Shaq Lattimore, who also had 3 catches.
But that's a problem you can solve. Normally it's the other way around, right, where you only have a short game until the defense cheats up. But if you have a deep game and everyone's backing off, you should be able to hit the open hooks and just something short down the field.
He can't do that.
You're absolutely right, Eagle. But
it can't or won't.
It takes. Honestly, I had the same experience in FPF when I was transitioning. I came into the league as a deep ball quarterback. It took me seasons to become more battle tested in order to improve the short game, and I had to make a conscious effort of it. I had to come into certain seasons and say, I want to force the ball short, and it doesn't happen overnight. That's what I'm trying to get at. So it's definitely difficult to make that adjustment throughout the course of the season. So I think that's the major concern right now. Apart from this, look, business as usual for KGP Raw, right? Another solid win. Defense stepped up in a huge way. I was coughing before because Dylan Garber had another pedestrian game, like some guy off the street came on and put up these numbers.
He had a great game in my eyes.
50% completion, 2 INTs. He put up the 4 touchdowns, only 148 yards passing. So But then again, you know what? Dylan Garber's doing what Dylan Garber has to do to carry his team to victory. He's leveraging the outstanding talent of guys like Jonathan Garfinkel, Phil Cutler. What'd you call him? Phil the Thrill Cutler? That's one of the coolest nicknames that I've heard in a while in FPF. So
Never call him that.
You called him that last week. Phil the Thrill Cutler. And I went,
Phil the Show Killer Cutler.
Oh, well, that just changed on me. So he's leveraging the talent of his teammates, and you know what? They're batting 1,000 right now. What do you want? What more do you want from KGP Brah?
Well, they're one game away from the showdown with Kiwi Island in week 9, which will determine pretty much who will be the 1 seed, unless there's a collapse by that team down the road here. But we'll talk about that a bit later on here. Top seasons with the big win over Frosty Bronsons as they beat them by 20 in Lachine on Sunday night. Khalil Kerr, 14-23 for 4 TDs, a meager 127 yards passing. Your boy James Nowakowski, 154 yards passing, 2 TDs, 4 INTs. Hassani Worrell with 2 TD catches, and Matthew Kenuel had 2 INTs. Alex, you were in the eye of the storm. Explain to us why, once again, you guys lost.
Well, the game started off fairly even. We exchanged scores to begin. We stopped Khalil Kerr on the first drive, and he hadn't figured out our defense yet at that point. And we had the chance to take the lead early on, and we just failed to do it. James delivered one of his 4 INTs on the game on that third possession. This was the key piece for top seasons. This game.
Hold on here. What the hell are you doing, Alex?
I got a free wristband from Rob, so I'm trying it on.
You're not a quarterback. Carry on, please.
Neither are you.
Yeah, but he's a defensive quarterback.
Yeah, he's a real Teddy Bruschi after. Carry on, please. My apologies.
And you're the only one with no armband, Mo, and I don't really see the purpose why you would have one.
I have my head.
Exactly.
Carry on, please.
Because your play calling is to be desired. However, the star of this game, Kevin Donay, 7 catches, 54 yards, 1 TD. He was the breaking point for our defense. This guy was catching all of the short passes from the snapper position, the hooks to slants, forced our defense to pull up, change our initial game strategy. Khalil Kerr found them with ease, and then throughout the game, Khalil Kerr picked apart the little holes in the zone that were created by us jumping up on Kevin. So definitely Kevin Donay made a huge impact on this game, and in my eye, he was the star performer in this one.
You're on the field. You saw them firsthand. Are they a legit contender, top seasons?
Absolutely. You have to give respect where respect's due. When Khalil Kerr plays this kind of well-rounded game like he did against us, and the defense is good. This is a good defense. It plays the 4-1. It plays a deep coverage, but it also sends shoots once in a while, which can confuse the middle-tier quarterbacks in this league. And they gave some confusion to James Nowakowski on this day. So the defense is good. The offense can be deadly when needed. I definitely think this is a contending team in Division D1.
An upset that has kept their playoff hopes alive. Zoo wins 31-30 over Brah-Mitzvah, a game that I was there for, and Pat Saint-Armand 18-31 for 172, 5 TDs, 3 INTs. Marty Freeman had a good game with 5 catches for 76 yards. David Daou, not so great in terms of the second half production, but he was 19-20 for 203. And Zach Goldstein had 2 INTs. And in that scenario, you would say, well, gee, the team that had the better stats should have won that game, but they didn't. And I asked myself this question. Brah-Mitzvah probably was a tad overhyped by us in terms of what we thought should have been a better season, and now it has enabled Zoo to keep their playoff hopes alive, and it opens up a Pandora's box of teams that can say we still have a chance with 3 games to go to perhaps clinch a ticket to the playoffs in a month's time.
I think it's interesting, Mo. I think what's interesting is that this season by Brah-Mitzvah truly shows how FPF has elevated over the course of just a few short seasons. It wasn't too long ago where we saw Dave Daou of Lime Time lighting up Division D of the league, throwing 50 touchdowns, arguably quarterback of the year. And now Dave Daou is been away for a few years, and we've seen the elevation of the talent level of this division, which is causing him so much hardship this season. And case in point here, you have a depleted Zoo team that's just playing for the sake of playing together in the summer. Has nothing, we're going to talk about it in a bit, but
they're banged up too.
A long shot to make the playoffs at this point, and they still can't catch a break. And they had a decent game. So this team is just fundamentally flawed, the Brah-Mitzvah, at this point. And when there's a team with that much, it's almost like they have a virus. And maybe they don't know what it is. It seemed like they played a well-rounded game, but they have a virus, and it's going to be their detriment this season, unfortunately.
Are they missing that piece from early season when they were looking for someone on the wall? Is that kind of what it is? Maybe that one.
Well, Frank Hayes not there. He's hurt, out for the year. And Martin Bergeron, who now has become the de facto captain of the team, essentially scrambling for players. He literally is adding players on the fly, and at that point, the question is if they're going to be in the playoffs, can they get everyone eligible for playoffs? That's going to be the key for them with 3 games to go.
I think Alex was talking about Brah-Mitzvah and that.
I was, but either way, really.
Yeah, either way. I think
both teams are missing people, right?
Brah-Mitzvah, look at the talent level. Dave Daou, Marty Friedman, Zach Goldstein, Devin Daou, Jared Buck is an up-and-coming talented player in the lower divisions. The talent is there. Maybe the depth is lacking a bit. You have Chris Kaliatzakis rearing up the depth of this team.
It's a lack of creativity on offense. I told that to Daou, though.
Yeah.
You got to become more effective in the red zone, dude. Like, you roll out, you take your eyes off the downfield options, and you look up, and they're not there anymore.
I played with him in Div C, and I'll say I've spoken with Dave many occasions about different ideas on offense, and he's always been a very creative guy. It just seems like he has a little bit of hesitancy to throw the ball into tight windows. And I don't know if that's confidence from struggles early in the season or what, but he's not letting the ball go when he needs to, and I think this is translating into Division D as well.
Let's talk about playoff races and the Conference A side of things here, Mr. Halawak.
Yes, Mr. Moe.
Get off my D1. Diablos are in the 2 spot. Then we have a bit of a mumble jumbled from 3 to 8 with Badgers, Fun Boys, Supply and Command, your Bronsons, LVA, ICU occupying the 3 to 8 spots right now. In this scenario, yes.
And just as a reminder, this is available on the website underneath the playoff standings tab, underneath the overview page.
It is. I'm looking at it right now. I can.
There are 2 people who have looked at it. It's Halawak and I.
And now the audience.
Perhaps, maybe they might be looking at the screen to.
Is it wood panel today? We have wood panel.
We got wood paneling. With
is it mahogany from the BC?
I can smell the fresh wood panel.
Yeah, BC pine. Never go.
BC pine, mahogany at its finest. Okay, well let's look at it from this perspective here. It's mangled like the Decarious Circle. In this regard, from spots 3 through 8, 2 points separate Badgers from ICU. Are we looking at these teams here perhaps seeing a dramatic fall and a dramatic rise of maybe when we speak again about this next week or in 2 weeks that ICU could very well be in the 3 hole and Badgers could very well drop to the 7 hole, or maybe Supply and Command might move up or move down. Fun Boys, same thing?
Absolutely. There's so much give and take right now. You're looking at 1 game separating spots 3 through 8. Anything can happen down the stretch. This is like everybody, make some popcorn, gear up for a long stretch. This is going to be crazy end of the season here. In my mind, it's up for grabs. I don't see any team outside of that 3 through 8 spot differentiating themselves at this point in order to grasp the 3rd spot right now. And even Diablos have shown a little bit of vulnerability, and they're only 1 point above the 3rd spot. So even the 2 spot is up for grabs in my mind in the upcoming
And they
weeks.
will play each other, Diablos and Badgers, week 10. That could end up being for the 2 spot or the 3 spot. Who knows? But would you put Diablos, as you said, would you say they're a firm 2 or are they a soft 2 right now?
No, soft 2. Absolutely, soft
like
2.
Diarrhea soft 2, or looking,
a diarrhea soft 2.
Okay.
I would blend them. I would blend them into the 3 right now. They have a 1 point advantage. That's not even a game in FPF, but I would blend them into that batch of 2 through 8. I think it's up for grabs. Only team that's certified itself is Get Off My D at first place.
I love to see no teams eliminated after 7 weeks.
Oh, love it. It's absolutely good.
Right now, Get Off My D has a clinched playoff spot, so they are in the playoffs at least for the time being. But you're right, Eagle, because right now, for the spots 2 through 10, right down to Dreamville, everyone's still alive for a playoff spot. But do you think we will see this whole serve when we speak again next week, Alex, that we will have the same order of teams, or do we see a team fall and we say, well, we thought so, and now they're in trouble going to the last 2 games of the year?
Well, definitely, my Frosty Bronsons are in trouble.
They've been in trouble since week 1, man.
They're like a bunch. We look like a bunch of purple cones, purple cones on the side of the road.
How about that?
Montreal is the city of orange cones and construction. I think Frosty Bronson is a team of purple cones.
Because you're colorblind?
Because we're just stagnant. We're just we don't. But that's one team. Besides that, I was very surprised to see ICU drop a big game this week.
GLC, big loss.
GLC. Hoyman Long had a game, over 200 yards passing, 6 TDs to 0 INTs, put the team on his back, and now we're looking at, GLC has been rejuvenated. As Alex said, as Eagle said, sorry, I'm not supposed to reveal your name, there's absolutely no team that's been eliminated yet. GLC looks rejuvenated. They're only 1 game back from a playoff spot. Dreamville is a team that's scrappy, that can battle every game. This is just like an epic playoff run that we're seeing develop at this point.
You know what? Had ICU defeated GLC, Diablos would have clinched a playoff spot because of that victory. But because that didn't happen, now GLC is still in play for a playoff spot. They're 2 behind ICU for the 8 hole, and they hold a tiebreaker against them if it comes down to that as well. So, I mean, a lot to play for in this division, but I think we're far, far away from knowing who are the legitimate 2 seed right down to the 8 seed.
Don't go to bed early because you're gonna miss some enthralling action here down the stretch.
And especially don't go to bed after Sunday, Monday, Tuesday because Mokan puts up the scores immediately.
Right away. But you look at this, though, before we get to the next topic. The current playoff teams.
Yes.
Yes or no, do we see a current playoff team not qualify? Without naming a team. You don't have to name a team, but yes or no, do you think there will be a team or teams that are holding spots that may not end up being there in a month's time?
No. I'm going to say no. Okay. I'm going to say it's hard for me to say because I do believe in Green Lantern Corps and Dreamville possibly winning a game each down the stretch here, but I think the playoff teams are going to hold firm. And if I had to say pick the top 8 teams from Conference A, I would pick all of these 8 teams currently in the bracket.
I'll ask you right now, one-word answer. Badgers, pretender or contender? And they got the big game against Diablos week 10, which will definitely say a lot about this.
Oh, man.
That game...
One word. You need to give more than one word at this point.
It's fun because you leave people... Oh, my God, he said contender, but why? Tune in next week and find out.
I'm going to say they are a pretender. And it's coming with an asterisk, but I'm not going to explain myself. Yeah, pretender Badgers. Although they have looked incredible of late.
Can you, Eagle, look up Badger to find out the exact origin of a badger? Where did it originate from? Wisconsin or from somewhere else in the U.S. Midwest?
An actual badger you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. The Fun Boys.
And Eagle, when you get a chance, you got to give us Chef Roger Mooking and his resemblance to Brett Callender this week.
Yes, Fun Boys.
So originally the badger comes from the European badger. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's the honey badger, American badger, European badger, Asian badger, Japanese badger, Chinese ferret badger, Burmese ferret badger, Javan ferret badger, and the Bornean ferret badger.
How about the American badger?
I will find out.
Okay, Fun Boys. Pretender or contender?
Contender.
Okay. Supply and Command.
Pretender.
Oh, wow. I will answer the Frosty Bronsons. Pretender or contender? It's the latter. Contender. LVA.
The latter? Contender?
No.
Contender, you said.
No. Pretender, contender. Latter is the second choice.
Yeah, but then you said contender after.
No.
You can't take it back now. No. Mocon thinks Frosty Bronsons are contender. What's up?
LVA.
LVA is a pretender.
ICU.
Pretender. Okay. After this week.
Jumping out to Conference B. Well, I'll just throw a couple of teams because we're going to talk more about this now. Purple Cobras.
Pretender. Come on.
Okay. SOB.
Pretender.
Fair enough. I will ask you on the team they call Go-Getters.
Contender. That's my dark horse contender.
Okay.
What about you, Mo? Let me throw a couple at you here since we're at it. Les Affreux.
A pretender, man.
TOPSZN.
Pretender. You know it. And they know it too.
Okay. What about Diablos? Pretender. From Conference A. Pretender.
I never bought them. Never bought them back in winter. I won't buy them now.
Okay.
It's like I don't eat...
Doritos?
No, I love Doritos. That's my... I'll have Doritos barbecue for those who are curious to know. People who want to send us food again, please do so.
Where are my wings, Mo?
Oh, I'll get you wings next time. I enjoy those wings.
I get them next time. Heard that before.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the race for 4 through 7 in Conference B. You have SOB, Les Affreux, Purple Cobras, and Go-Getters. You mentioned Go-Getters being a team that's a dark horse. So I'll ask you this question. Are they the team that no one will want to face in the playoffs because, again, you think they are a team that will be a dark horse?
Absolutely. I absolutely think this is a team that if you catch them in the first round, they can upset the hierarchy big time. Right now, they're in the 7th spot. They look pretty comfortable to not drop to 8th at least, so they can only go up. So you're looking at 6 points is tying 7th through 5th. So you're looking at Kiwi Island, TOPSZN, or Straight Out of Breath. I think they can beat any of those teams in the first round of the playoffs. I think it's the toughest game will be against Kiwi Island, of course, but even that's a 50-50 chance in my mind. So this is definitely a team primed for first round upset.
Do you see this picture I'm showing?
That is the original gangster Chris Olsen.
Do you see this picture I'm showing?
That's actually kind of funny because the green behind him gets muted out by the green screen effect. That's kind of cool.
That's a good picture. Why did you pull it up though?
Because it's on the league leaders, weekly leaders. Olsen at 257 yards passing for ICU.
He's been balling as of late. I'm so surprised they dropped that game.
Yeah.
Hey, look at those running stats. Khalil Kerr.
Khalil Kerr
Ran all over you, didn't he, Hollow?
And Khalil Kerr, I have to say, the running element is something that he didn't use against us often, but when he did, it broke our backs. So the running aspect of his game is huge.
Yeah, but you have Terry Tam playing for you on defense. Okay, so you
don't get started on that. Terry Tam's an excellent defender.
I look at
he's my boy.
I know he's your boy. I look at a team such as Purple Cobras. You talk about dark horse teams. I'm going to take this as my dark horse team.
Yeah, very good.
I think they sort of found their groove now in that they got out to a slow start to begin the year, and they had a big win over Bruisers on Sunday in Lachine. Even though they lost to Get Off My D by 9, no harm. Get Off My D is a very good team, probably the best team, or one of the best teams in the entire landscape.
Best team in Conference A.
But I think with 3 games to go, their true test will be against Kiwi Island, and if chances are they may not win that game, but if they make it a competitive matchup, they're sending a warning shot to those teams above them that if we cross paths at some point in the playoffs, I don't think we're going to play us.
This is an interesting team, Mo, and I do concede your point that they are a dark horse. Joy Taylor, when he cuts his hair, he shaves about 15 pounds off of his playing speed.
You see his hairstyle
and,
now? Oh my God.
He looks a lot faster without that hair and a lot more dominant on the field. So this is a team that also has seen a measure of success in the past winter season. They have the reigning Division 5 quarterback of the year, Eric Moreno. And yes, he's been a little bit inconsistent in moving up to Division D, moving up, if you will. But he still has that latent talent to bust off a big game whenever needed. I think this is a dark horse team as well.
I think this is probably the better of the races. I know people talk about there's more of a quantitative approach with Conference A, but I think this is the quality of what they have for Conference B. And it's going to come down to the last week, I think, to clinch spots here.
For me, Mo, I hear your point, and I do want to say something nice about Conference A, but for me, it's all Conference B. They have the top talent, the top-notch talent, and they have the depth in Conference B. Conference A is the much softer division in my mind, and that's why it might actually, create some upsets.
So, with upsets and making this a race, GLC, Deville, Zoo, or Brah-Mitzvah, do they make it a race for the last playoff spots, yes or no?
If there's any team that's going to do it, it's in Conference A, GLC, or Deville. But as I already said, no, that they would not, because the top 8 would qualify. I'm going to stick to saying no at this point. Okay. I don't think Zoo and Brah-Mitzvah are making a push. What about you?
I think there might be like a murmur of a push.
Murmur from who?
I think Deville can do it.
Oh, you're going to go down with Deville this year, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, but their roster's been changing.
They're missing their quarterback this week.
They're missing Soleil was missing. They're missing a bunch of guys. Langbert wasn't there. That's why I say it's a murmur, not like a real earthquake, knock on wood, of an approach.
What do you think of their addition of Tony Corey as a midseason acquisition?
It's like, what was his name in Division 2? Cold Fusion? It's like that.
It's like that?
Yeah.
It's like Cold Fusion. Yeah, what do you think of that?
How are you supposed to know who that is? You know that guy from that team in another division? Him.
You know what? Why don't you put his face up on the mahogany wall we have right now?
No.
Why don't you go put on that wristband again?
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, nice.
Get us Roger Mooking.
Please, hurry up. Okay, Khalil Kerr, how do you stop him? I'll tell you how you stop him.
How you stop him?
He's a one-read guy. I watched him play against you guys. It was underneath stuff.
Yeah.
Get a tall rusher and shoot the gap, shoot the short, and then he's not going to beat you. He won't beat you. He's a one-read guy. Take away his first read, he has nothing afterwards.
I have a bit more of a complex theory on this than you, Mo. I'm going to give Khalil Kerr a little bit more respect than that. I think that what you have to do, you're not going to be able to stop him with a rush. No rusher is going to contain Khalil Kerr. He's going to run whenever he wants. You have to contain him as a team. You have to keep guys up at the line of scrimmage, and you have to take away. This is what we did. Our fatal flaw was that we let him get comfortable early. He hit his snapper several times. They marched downfield on their snapper. It took us too late to adjust. So if you can press up front, if you could force him to make quarterback throws, make the throw over the post between a window, make the corner throw early in the game, I think you're going to push him off his comfort level, and then you may get the Khalil Kerr at the beginning of the season with high incompletions, but that's not anything near what we able to do against him this week.
Shoot the flats, shoot the gaps, shoot whatever it is, confuse him. Don't give him the same looks. He will not read it properly. I'm telling you.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we kind of aligned in our estimation there. It was pretty close. So, what are we really fighting about, anyways?
I don't know. I don't know what we're fighting about, but we're fighting for something here. It's how to stop Khalil Kerr.
Yeah,
we'll see. To do. Look, he's proven his worth the last 4 games. Now, can he finish off these next 3 to cement his team's at least a 3 spot, maybe a 2 spot?
Yeah, definitely
3. But
he's definitely a rhythm guy. If you let him get in rhythm, it's gonna be a long night for your defense, as we witnessed firsthand. If you bump him off, young, developing quarterback, you may have some success.
Okay, undefeated. We're on a collision course for the which should have been a second undefeated battle, which will now be the only undefeated battle in this conference. KGP Raw against Kiwi Island, which will be next week, week 9. Percentage right now of this being the battle of undefeateds next Sunday.
Percentage of this.
Yeah, would you say it's an 85% chance we'll have these 2 teams still undefeated, or are we looking at a lower number moving towards week 8?
I'm going to say that there is a 60% chance only that these 2 teams will be undefeated next week. And the reason why is that both teams are playing experienced oppositions. They're playing ICU and Purple Cobras, 2 teams that are battling for their playoff rankings right now. I can foreseeably predict an upset here in one of these 2 games. And I think that one of the top teams may crack before they ever get a chance to face each other in week 8.
It won't be my boys. My boys are going to come through.
Who are your boys? Oh, KGP Raw?
Yeah, they're going to come through.
I don't know. Chris Olsen's been balling lately.
Yeah, not last week against GLC.
He's leading the division in yards. Still had a decent game.
That's a crazy headshot, though.
His team couldn't help him get the win. That is crazy. It's like a Latino gangster kind of look, you know?
Hey, man, what'd you say?
Chris Olsen looks like a 2003 football player with that look.
Yeah.
Headshot.
He does. It's so funny.
We should do like
played for the Bengals.
Who does Chris Olsen look like? He looks like a Division 1 AA football player for like Valdosta State. That's what he looks like. Let's talk about Division D2 now. And as we move towards that side of the division coverage, let's look at the games that was, or the week that was in this conference. Some games that caught my attention, Mr. Hollowak, for week 7, as I load it up right now. The game that I saw that was fun to watch for the early part was Ravens hammering Roadrunners 47-32. This is a game which, in fact, because of some logistical problems, only went to one side of the field.
And that was game of the week, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was game of the week. Wow. What an awful game to pick. Alex David, 7 TDs, 22-31 passing, 227 yards. Probably his best game I've ever seen him play as a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Adana had 2 TDs. Matthew Ula, once again, 3 TDs, 5 catches. Matthew Yanukulias, 5 TDs, 119. Not so bad. Justin Lerner with 3 TDs, where it came down to his execution, and the runners couldn't execute on 3rd and 4th downs, turnovers, couldn't move the ball in the second half. And you saw what happened. The Ravens went on a blitz, scoring at first 13 unanswered points, and they didn't look back, and they win very convincingly over a pretty decent runners team. And now here we are, the Ravens controlling their fate moving toward the last 3 games of the season.
Wow, it was 27-6 in the second half for the Ravens, eh? And Roadrunners were actually leading at the half.
Yeah, they were. They went on a blitz, and they never recovered from it.
Justin Lerner made a couple of insane catches in this game, showing his versatility and his range. I think that everybody should go and watch this game, game of the week. A true introduction to these Roadrunners. Give them a lot of props. They brought it. In the game of the week, they fell far short in the second half against this experienced Ravens team. But as we've said in recent weeks, it's a team on steroids, right? So what
Not
more
literally.
can you do?
Not the roster I'm talking about.
Oh, you never know. But Alex David, he looked like this guy was moving out there. He was running. He was dipping the rush. He was running side to side. He was throwing on the move. I've never seen Alex David play like that before at the quarterback position. Maybe the game that he had, the 2 games that he had in Div C, subbing in for Mike Adana for Show Me Your TDs, gave him a bit more swagger because he looks like he's holding the hammer right now, and he's just dropping it on teams in Division D2.
You would think so. I think he's more confident now running that offense. defense. And look, he's got the Adana boys. He's got Matthew Wool. He's there. He's that red zone target that no one can solve yet. And it's amazing that I look at the runners. They have some pretty good athletes on defense, and they couldn't figure out how to stymie him at the line of scrimmage. And he just bullied these guys for touchdowns, and they had no answer for him whatsoever.
Matthew Will's a beast.
He's a monster.
He can give you anything. Yeah, he's surprisingly quick as well. He gets the first step on you, and then once he does, he uses his massive size to box out. He can go get the ball at the point that nobody else in the division can.
Oh, I am being called, I think, by the Ravens.
I think it's you're being released, Mo.
I think I am. I'm sorry. Let me. Anyway, it was actually Alex Apostolakis calling me. Let's talk about the surprise of the week. Not because they won, but because the scoreline was very close. The Montagneurs winning by 4 over Norfolk and Chance. I'll ask you this question: if Hakeem Charles plays in this game, do they win this matchup and upset the Mountaineers?
Hey, it went down to the wire, man. I got to tell you, I was. This is a game that shocked me this week. That surprised me the most. Good for Norfolk and Chance for pushing this undefeated Mountaineers team. I think that had Hakeem been there, it very likely would have been the tilting point, and it very likely would have been the crack that ended the undefeated season for Julien Fizet-Cyr and the bunch. So I think they can toast their blessings that he was absent on this game. However, still a lot of positives for Norfolk and Chance. Chris Millar is just an outstanding two-way player. He's actually playing secondary in this division, usually known for a rusher in the higher divisions, but he's a rangy secondary. It covers a lot of ground. He creates a lot of mismatch. And Chris Williams, man, what a seasoned vet this guy is. He does it season in, season out. Doesn't matter who his quarterback is. He's going to show up to the field, and he's going to score buckets.
Well, Rocco Cristiano has been a difference for this team. It's showing now the last 4 weeks they're much more confident than where they were. And they have a fighter's chance now, moving ahead. They're in a position now to clinch a playoff spot perhaps in the next 2 weeks. And I think this would be, not to say this would be their championship to clinch a playoff spot, but it would be huge for them to do so. And I give them full credit here. I thought this would be a team that would win 2 games, but they superseded that expectation and now are on the cusp of maybe having 4, maybe even 5 wins to end off the year.
They struggled mightily in the winter with Bobby Sepagentis at quarterback. The switch to Rocco Cristiano has been revolutionary for them. Now, here's one thing to notice for Mountaineers. Once again, no Fred Vien in this game. The few games that he's missed this year, they've struggled. I think their tie has come with Fred Vien absent from the lineup, and this week he was missing from this game, and they came close to being upset. So Fred Vien, obviously an integral piece to this lineup, and it's not the same Mountaineers look without him in the secondary on defense.
ETC with a big win over Buffalo Wild Wings, 26-18. They keep their playoff hopes alive. Juwan Edgehill, very cocky himself. 12 of 20 for 154, 3 TDs. He boldly claimed to me before last week that they would make the playoffs. Maybe they do now. Who knows? But Owen Butrowski had 1 TD on 3 catches for 54 yards. This, in your mind, was this an upset given that Juwan Edgehill, who hadn't played with this team until week 6, comes in at quarterback and single-handedly defeats Buffalo Wild Wings?
Certainly an upset. This is a team that had no wins before the game. We didn't know anything about them. New team to the league. They finally gave us reason to look them up, and now there's a little bit of hype to them, and I'm excited. I think Juwan Hedgehill. I said it like a Frenchman. I think he brings the sauce to this team that they needed. That veteran experience. Even though he has only played a few seasons in the league, but he knows how the game is run. I think he brings that to them, and he makes them an interesting, compelling team to follow down the stretch. I'm just disappointed in Buffalo Wild Wings. I think that this is a team that we looked forward to having a better season than they have so far. I think the offense has staggered consistently throughout the year, and I think they really dropped the ball in this one versus the rookie ETC
team. They'll be in the playoffs. They have at least a 4-point gap on Red Sharks for 7th. And a 3-point gap on ETC, so they'll make the playoffs. Albeit they might stumble into the playoffs.
I blame Mokan for eating the wings.
He ate the wings.
He put the curse on the team.
Perhaps.
It's all your fault, Mo.
He ate the wings. Didn't even give us any.
I'm a team player. I took one for the team. I thought about you guys, but I took one for the team.
He just keeps a little bit of sauce on his finger that he never washed, just so he can go back for more all the time.
God, that's gross.
Conference B. We look at Conference B, and where we're at, seeds 5 through 8, still up for grabs right now. Only essentially 2 points separates Goofy Goobers from Longhorns in the 9-hole. will we see a photo finish for these last 4 playoff spots moving into the last 3 games of the year?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you will. You have a couple of hot teams here. You have the Goofy Goo Bears, who've turned it around since Styles Trudeau passed the torch over to Zach Zergiotis. Zach Zergiotis, by the way, as mentioned by the historian Jim Calethris, had a perfect game this weekend. Woo! 20 for 20, 7 TDs, 0 INTs.
It's not the record, though.
Sorry?
It's not the record.
It's not the record?
No.
It's a perfect game. What is the record for what?
It's because technically you need to have, and there's a whole poll going on right now on the FPF wall about it. Technically, you need 25 attempts.
No, okay, first of all, let me just go back to that stupid, irrational thought process, okay?
Let's hear it, Mo.
If we start FPF today and a guy goes 8 for 8, is that not the record? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, week 2, someone goes 10 for 10. Is that the new record?
Yes.
Okay, so in the Olympics, when Usain Bolt breaks his own record, is that the new record?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't go, hey, Usain Bolt, you did 9.32 for it to be a record. No, if you break the record, you break the record.
I understand, but the thing is here...
Enough.
I lost the logic.
The record here is the completion percentage. The completion percentage is 100%. You can't beat it, right?
Look, I have a question.
Of course not.
I have a question.
You're talking about the number of completions, though.
Well, because we put a minimum requirement on number of attempts in order to qualify for it.
Why? Because someone goes 13 for 13. Yeah, that's great.
No,
you're
because
not breaking the record.
Because in some land or whatever it is where Mo's actually good at quarterbacking, he throws one pass and scores a touchdown on it. Are you suddenly 100% or whatever it is in terms of 150.3?
Yeah, but realistically speaking here...
that's the whole thing. Realistically, we put our cap at 25 attempts.
Let's get Justin in on this. He has a thought.
There you go. There's a man's man right here.
I just want to bring up, in the NFL, it's 20 attempts. Mic drop.
Oh.
Are we the NFL?
Listen.
Do I have Roger Goodell coming down on me, suspending me for podcasting?
I'm just saying, it's at 25 now. Why not bring it down to 20? Bring it down to
25 is a lot. 25 completions or attempts right
now?
Attempts. Okay.
Completions. Yeah.
All I'm saying is this.
Well, I mean, technically, it's the same in this case.
You can pitch a full game, a no-hitter, and you could still throw the ball 20 times. You can even throw the ball less.
All I'm saying
what if you go 18 for 18 with 7 touchdown passes? It's kind of a shame that you won't be registered for a perfect game. But 20 is a little bit reasonable in my mind.
All I'm saying is this.
Not to mention. I think it's kind of more. How can I say this? Like if you get 32 attempts in a game, let's say, if you go 32 for 32, that's a lot of 1-yard hooks that you're throwing. It's not more impressive to go. I'm just saying to go like 20 for 20, where most of those are probably some 40 bombs. Like
but hold on.
Let's go 20 for 20 with 87 yards. Like
my argument is this:
used to have.
If you set the standard and someone beats that standard, that's the new record. That's the whole point of it, right?
I don't follow the logic. I don't. Maybe.
But no, if someone goes week 1 20 for 20, then week 2 someone goes 22 for 22.
Yeah,
that's the new record. 22 completions.
Well, they tied. It's a tie.
Mo, we're looking at completion percentage. We're not looking at completions.
I'm looking at completions, not percentages, though.
Oh, but that's not what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whole new ball game.
You're in the wrong podcast, my friend.
Anyway, back to the point. 5 through 9.
Tweet us your thoughts at MoCon19, at AlexHolak1, at EagleFPF.
Don't tweet your thoughts, please.
Don't tweet the All-Star. He doesn't read your messages.
Okay, Goofy Goobers, NIC, Warpigs, Smoking That Lala. And then, of course, Longhorns.
Of course. Will it be a photo finish? Of course it's going to be a photo finish. Goofy Goo Bears, we just said, better since the change at quarterback. And also, Shamar Joysant, he's putting on a show at wide receiver the last couple of weeks as well. Just caught 5 touchdown passes this week against the very poor Longhorns. Very poor. I feel bad for them this year. But regardless, NIC... they just pushed the Mountaineers to the brink, an undefeated team, largely regarded as the top team in Division 5B, so definitely they're going to be making it a run. War Pigs playing well lately, but not much to show for it. 1-1-1 in their last 3. And then you have the Lalas, who
forfeited their game.
That's the one team that looks like they've tailed off a bit in the last 3 weeks.
Were they missing a guy? What was
they were missing a few guys. On Monday night, Brent Calendar... what's the name?
That was the emergency one that he posted, right?
Yeah. He was looking for reinforcements. No one came to his aid. They had to forfeit the game, so they still preaching won the game 30-0. Helps their playoff cause, by the way. But I look at this, and I think with the teams from 5 through 8, I think half those teams will be below 500 going into the playoffs. I don't think they'll be all 5 above 500, but you look at a team like Smoking That Lala, maybe they do tail off. But a team such as Goofy Goobers are now peaking at the right time. Norfolk and Chance, I think that's the wild card. They sort of had that opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to be going to the playoffs hot. And if everyone shows up, including Hakeem Charles, that makes them much more dynamic and gives Rocco Cristiano another weapon to work with and makes that offense a lot more lethal.
But look, there's one thing to say, right? I do agree with your point. It's unfortunate that probably 5 through 8 will finish under 500 in Conference B.
Well, half of them, I think.
As opposed to Division 5-1, was that what it's called? Division 5-1?
Sure.
As opposed to Division D-1, my apologies, in the wrong season.
5-1.
Where Conference B is the stud conference, and this one, Conference A, is a stud conference. You're looking at, like, although I'll take the Mountaineers and the Ravens as the top 2 teams in either conference, there's way more depth in Conference A. You have Trinity, Warriors, All Hooks, Lobster Dinner, Vikings, all super quality teams that not just whatever their record is, but they pass the eyeball test. Whereas in Conference B, you have teams like Goofy Goobers, Norfolk and Chance, War Pigs, where sometimes it looks like they're just out there just throwing the ball around. Like this, it seems like it lacks some rhythm and some rhyme to their madness. Yeah, exactly. So I definitely like the quality of teams in Conference A in this conference DB.
It's weaker quantity-wise than it is quality-wise.
Yeah. No, quality-wise is good. It's quantity-wise. Exactly.
Conference B, it's weaker.
Yeah. Let's call it depth for the sake of my brain. There's less depth in Conference B than there is in Conference A.
You would hope so.
I agree.
There's less depth in my brain than there is in Eagles' brain.
Okay, so does ETC and Lala hold on to the playoff spots? Because right now they occupy the 8 hole, and ETC is 1 up on Red Sharks and Black Knights. Smoking that Lala's up 1 on Longhorns and 3 points up in Pandas.
It's tough to say for Lala because, like, Avery's been missing. The Avery of Avery Lala has been missing the past, I think it might be 3 games now. There was Tony Lala who went quarterback. There was Matthew Bondo who went quarterback, and this week they forfeited. So I don't know what the consistency factor is going to be for them going down the stretch. Longhorns are right up their tail, only 1 point behind. That's a game. And Longhorns, as much as I said, I don't like the way they're playing this year. This is a veteran team with lots of moxie, and they can scrap out a win when needed. On the other side, I like ETC. I think that Joanne Edgehill was bold in tweeting you at 3 a.m. in the morning and telling you that. Well, that's what you said. You said he messaged you at
Facebook message.
A Facebook message.
Yeah, I go tweeting me. I don't think he's ever tweeting me.
And telling you that he's going to make the playoffs and you can book it. And I like that. And I think I'm gonna bet on that. I don't like the Red Sharks. I don't like the Black Knights particularly. And I think ETC has a chance.
You just made his head so much bigger.
Well, let's see. Keep balling out. I want to watch an ETC game. I'm curious to see these guys play.
It's not worth it. Justin, is it? You should see Justin on Tuesday. Do you have my number? Don't worry, I have your number. Come see me at halftime, and we'll get the numbers properly sorted. Okay?
Yeah, they're like bright-eyed kids. You know, like they're experiencing the league for the first time. I remember that sentiment. It was so much fun.
He goes, "A grade 1 teacher. Kids, come see me, and we will put this in order when I come see you at halftime. Okay?"
Yeah, at least he didn't have Mo Khan there, Mr. Strict ruler to everybody's ass.
Hey.
No stats for you. No stats for you. No stats for you.
No stats for you, man.
He's the reverse Oprah.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, a number? You get no stats, man. I ain't wasting my time posting your stats up if you're not doing me the favor by wearing a number. The better top 3. You have Conference A that has currently right now Trinity, Warriors, All Hooks. And B, Mountaineers, Ravens, big fun party mix. Which trio are you taking as being the better out of the 2?
So here's the thing. I just spoke about that. I said I'd take the Mountaineers and Ravens as a top 2.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me a top 3. I'm switching my pick. I'm taking Conference A, Warriors, Trinity, All Hooks, just because I think All Hooks is an elite team in this division. And now you have 3 top teams. Warriors are in first place. I would rank them 3rd, actually. And I think the Warriors are having a very good season. Don't get me wrong. Very strong team and super impressed. But I would rank them 3rd in terms of the talent, pure eyeball test talent in this division. Whereas on the other side, you have Mountaineers, you have Ravens, and then big fun party mix. As much as I'm coming on to them in the past few weeks, I'm impressed with their play. I'm not sold on them as a premier contender just yet. So I'll take Conference A with those 3 big teams.
I think All Hooks is the best team in Conference A, but I'm going with Conference B as being the better of the trios. Mountaineers, very good, impressive. Mm-hmm. Ravens have been impressive. I like them a lot. Big fun party mix, probably the weaker of the 3 teams, but I think the quantity of what we have in this side of the bracket is much more superior than what we have on the other side. Warriors, they got to close out games. They don't know how to close out games, and I think it's going to cost them at some point, hopefully not in the playoffs for their sake. And for Trinity, same thing. I think they're that team that can coast through the regular season, and come playoffs when the lights are brighter, can they react with wins? I'm not too sure about that.
I think that we sleep on Big Fun Party Mix 8 because of Evan Eli Nole at quarterback and because perhaps his long-time layoff at quarterback in this league before winter season and inexperience before that. However, this team, you shouldn't sleep on them because they have Dean Demetrio, they have Michael Bolognese, they have Ricky Tolino. They're stacked with talented two-way players, and Evan is managing games and he's being a gunslinger as well when needed. So this team is definitely one to keep an eye on. I think it would be a mistake to sleep on them like we're kind of doing.
That's the first Italian name that Holloweg pronounces properly, and of course it's a food.
Yeah, exactly.
Baloney. Race for first. The 1 seed right now, Trinity Warriors are tied at 12, and you have the Montagneurs and Ravens 1 point separating those two teams. Week 10 rolls around. Are the Mountaineers and Trinity the 1 seeds in the playoffs? Yes or no?
No. Trinity is playing a very tough game in the next couple of weeks.
Trinity's scheduled the next 3 weeks here.
Against Montagneurs. Trinity's playing Mountaineers, so I think if you have to have me put odds on this game, I'm going to give a 70% chance to Mountaineers to win this game against Trinity. I think that should they lose this, if Fred Vien is there, of course, should they lose this game, Warriors will clinch first. They have a much easier schedule down the stretch. So I think Warriors and Mountaineers are actually going to squeak it off. I think Warriors are taking Conference A.
All right, then. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
All right. I wish we had Chapman doing this instead.
You say that every time.
I know.
Why?
He has more oomph to that.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I got my own oomph, okay?
I know you do.
Oh, GM coming in with coffee.
Yeah, but you're done. You're leaving like in 2 minutes.
I got to go. I got a softball game.
Yeah. All right, we got Straight Out of Breath.
Probably chocolate milk, by the way.
Versus TOPSZN. 2.5 point favorites to TOPSZN.
TOPSZN cleaning that clock out. Cleaning it out. TOPSZN taking it.
You know what? SOB ends their losing streak. They win.
Ooh, interesting.
Tim Tebow is now a baseball player, no longer playing football, hitting home runs actually.
Yes,
so maybe a hint,
single high A.
maybe
now,
a
right?
hint to SOB.
Single A high now, you know.
All right, we got Diablos versus Get Off My D. Get Off My D is favored by 7.5 points.
Mo,
Get off my D. 100%. They're going to win by 10.
give me Diablos. No.
No, it's over.
No, give me Diablos.
Next.
We got the Go-Getters versus the Backyard Bruisers. 4.5 point favorites to Le Getter.
I'm jumping in. Getters. Oh,
Getters.
damn you. Getters taking this one.
Next.
We have Trinity versus Les Montagnards. 6.5 points to Mountaineers.
Mountaineers, brother.
I'll take Trinity. 6.5 is a big spread. Mountaineers might win, but give me Trinity to cover.
We got Vikings versus the Goofy Goobers. 3.5 points to the Vikings.
Goobers.
Vikings, big time. They've been hot lately. They've been hot.
We got the Black Knights versus Preaching on That Lala. 7.5 points to... No, not Preaching on That Lala, sorry. Still preaching. 7.5 points favors to Preaching.
They should mesh. Maybe they would make like one good team together.
Perhaps.
What are you taking?
Preaching.
I'm taking Preaching. Black Knights, come on. That's a...
Oh, what did you learn in today's episode?
I learned that, when we put our minds to it, we can get this done on time.
Yeah, I know. Even though we were slightly delayed by an upload.
Look, we got here. GM just got
It
here.
wasn't an upload, it was an update.
Whatever. Well, what did you learn in today's episode?
I learned that I should update before showing up to the thing.
I learned Canada Day this weekend, so enjoy
You only
that.
learned that now?
Yeah.
That's a problem, Mo. You should know your Canadian history. How long have you been here?
I don't know. I'm more American than I am Canadian. Good night, Mexico.